Hey guys, it's me, Marvelous Cast Elliot here. I know it's probably not scary, but whatever. Your Halloween Spectacular thingamajig. Yes, and if you see I'm copying off the Yogs cast, I got the idea off of them, not copying them. So anyway, let's get started with this. The Killer in the Window, an urban legend by David Emery. Example 1, as told by reader Destine. This girl was at home all alone watching TV on a cold winter night. The television was right beside a sliding glass door, and the blinds were open. Suddenly, she saw a wrinkled old man staring at her through the glass. She screamed, then grabbed the phone next to the couch and put a blanket over her head so the guy couldn't see her. While she called the police. She was so terrified she remained under the blanket until the police got there. It had snowed a lot during the day, so the police naturally decided to look for footprints, but there were no footprints at all on the snowy ground outside the sliding door. Puzzled, the police went back inside the house, and that's when they saw wet footprints on the floor leading to the couch where the girl was still sitting. The policemen looked at each other nervously. "Miss, you're extremely lucky," one of them finally said to her. "Why?" she asked. "Because," he said, "the man wasn't outside at all. He was in here, standing right behind the couch. What you saw in the window was his reflection." Example 2. A 15-year-old girl was babysitting her little sister while her parents went out to party. She sent her sister off to bed up to watch her favourite TV show. She sat in the recliner with the blanket and watched it until it went off at around 10:30. After it went off, she turned around in her seat to face the big glass door and watch the snow fall. She sat there for about 5 minutes when she noticed a strange man walking towards the glass from outside. She sat there staring as he stared at her back. She started to pull a shiny object from his coat. Thinking it was a knife, she immediately put the covers over her head, and in about 10 minutes she removed the covers so that he was gone. Then she called 999, and they rushed over. They examined outside for footprints for snow, but there were none to be found. The two got to the house and tired of the bad news. They noticed a trail of big wet footsteps leading up to the chair where she was sitting. Cops came to their conclusion and immediately told the girl that she was very lucky because the man she saw staring was not outside, but he was standing right behind her, and what she saw was his reflection. Let's see. I've got another one. And Jimmy's friend. A girl in her teens is babysitting for a family in Newport Beach, California. The family's wealthy and has a very large house. You know, the sort with a ridiculous amount of rooms. Anyways, the parents are going out for a late dinner movie, and the father tells the babysitter that once the children are in bed, she's going to a specific room. He doesn't really want to watch TV there. Parents take off, and as soon as she gets the kid in bed, she goes into and watches TV. She tries watching TV, but she's disturbed by a clown statue in the corner of the room. She tries to ignore it for as long as possible, but it's hard freaking out so much that she can't handle it. She resorts to calling the father and asks, "Hey, the kids are in bed, but it's okay if I switch rooms. This clown statue is really creeping me out." The father says, seriously, get the kids. Go next door and call 999. What's going on? She responds. She responds with, go next door. I want to call the police. Call me back. She gets the kids, goes next door, and calls the police. When the police are on the way, she calls the father and asks, so, really, what's going on? He responds, we don't have a clown statue. He further explains that they've been complaining about a clown watching them as they sleep. He and his wife have just been assuming they were having theirs. What? Perverted clown. The police arrive to apprehend the clown, who turns out to be a midget. A midget clown. I guess he was just some homeless person dressed as a clown and somehow got into the house and had been living there for several weeks. He would come into the kids' rooms at night and watch them while they slept. As the house was so large, he was able to avoid detection, surviving off their food, etc. He'd been in the TV room right before the babysitter came in there, and when she entered, she didn't have enough time to hide, so she froze in place and pretended to be a statue. Okay, that's weird. Got another variant of this minute. 2 years ago, a mother and a father decided they needed a break, so they wanted to head out for the night on the town. So they called their most trusted babysitter, and when the babysitter arrived, the two children were already fast asleep in bed. The babysitter had to sit around and make sure everything was okay with the children. Later that night, the babysitter got bored and she wanted to watch TV, but she couldn't watch it downstairs because they didn't have cable downstairs. The parents didn't want their children watching too much like cartoons. So she called them and asked if it was okay if she could watch cable TV in the parents' room. Of course, the parents said it was okay. The babysitter had one final request. If she could cover up the large clown statue in their bedroom with a blanket or cloth because it made her nervous. The family was silent for a moment, and then the father said, take the children and get out of the house. We'll call the police. Don't have a clown statue. Children in the babysitter got murdered by the clown. The clown was a killer that escaped from jail. If you don't believe it, you don't believe it. So, got another one here. Nope. I'm just looking at them. These are a mess. I don't know if there's one I should tell you. This is, I think it's a pretty well-known one. A married couple were getting out for the evening and called a teenage babysitter to take care of their 3 children. When she arrived, they told her they wouldn't be back until late, and that the kids were already asleep, so she didn't need to disturb them. Babysitter starts doing her homework, waiting a call from her boyfriend. After a while, the phone rings. She answered it, but here's no one on the other end, just silence. Then whoever it is hangs up for a few more minutes, then the phone rings again. She answers. This time it's a man on the line saying, in a cheating voice, have you checked the children? At first she thinks it might have been the father calling to check, and he got interrupted. So she decides to ignore it. She goes back to her homework. Then it rings again. Have you checked the children? Says the creepy voice on the other end. Mr. Murphy, she asks, but the caller hangs up again. She decides to phone the restaurant where the parents said they'd be dining, but she calls for Mr. Murphy and is told that he and his wife left the restaurant 45 minutes earlier. She calls the police and reports that a stranger has been calling her, hanging up. Has he threatened you? Dispatcher says no, he says. Well, there's nothing we can really do about it. You could try reporting the prank caller to the phone company. A few minutes go by and she gets another call. Why haven't you checked the children? The voice says. Who is this? She says, but it hangs up. She dials 911 and says, I'm scared. I know he's out there. He's watching me. Have you seen him? The dispatcher says. She says no. Well, there isn't much we can do about it, the dispatcher says. The babysitter goes into panic mode and pleads with him to help her. Now, it'll be okay, he says. Give me your phone number and street address, and we'll keep this guy on the phone for a little. A minute, we'll try to trace the call. What's your name again? Linda. Okay, Linda. If he calls back, we'll do our best to trace the call. Just keep calm. Can you do that for me? Yes, she says, and hangs up. She tries to turn the lights down so she can see if anyone's outside. That's why she gets another call. It's me. Rico says, why did you turn the lights down? Can you see me, Chef Banky? Yes, he says after a long pause. Look, you've scared me, she says. I'm shaking. Are you happy? Is that what you wanted? No, what do you want? Your blood all over me. She slams the phone down, terrified, and almost immediately rings. Leave me alone. Leave me alone, she screams, but the dispatcher is calling back. His voice is urgent. No, Chris got he's got away in another room inside the house. Get out now! She tears the front door to unlock the dash, but only the chain and top is latched. She accepts unhooked. She's the door open. Top of scared light screams from the children's bedroom, revealing the profile of a man standing just inside. She finally gets to the door, bursts outside, only to find a cop standing on the doorstep with his gun drawn. At this point, she's safe, of course, but then they capture the intruder and drag him downstairs in handcuffs. She sees them blood go out. The 3 children have all been murdered. Wow. Wow. Oh god. Oh god, that was weird. I like that. That was pretty cool. There's some more on there. Let me see if I can find any. Here we are. Let's look for some other legends. Yay! I've lost them. Yeah. This one's called Humans Can Lick Too. Okay. A young girl named Lisa often had to spend time alone at home at night, as her parents worked late. They would her a dog to keep her company and protect her. One night Lisa was awake by the dripping sound. She got up and went to the kitchen to turn off the tap properly. She was getting back. She stuck her hand under the bed and the dog licked it. The dripping sound continued, so she went into the bathroom until the tap was turned off. There. 2. She went back to her bedroom and stuck her hand under the bed. The dog licked it again, but the dripping continued. She went outside, turned off all of the faucets out there. She then stuck her hand under it again. The dog licked it. Drip, drip. The dripping continued. Drip, drip, drip. This time she listened and located the source of the dripping. It was coming from her closet. She opened the closet door and found the poor dog was hanging upside down with its neck cut. Written on the window outside was, "Humans can lick too." Oh damn! Oh snap! That's actually pretty freaky. There we go. This is probably the last one, guys. I don't know. One night, a woman went out for a drink with her girlfriends. She left the bar fairly late at night and got into a car onto the deserted highway. She noticed a lone pair of headlights in the rearview mirror approaching a pace just slightly quicker than hers. As the car pulled up behind her, she glanced and saw the signal turn on. The car was going to pass when suddenly it swerved back behind her and pulled dangerously close to triangulate the brake her tailgate, and lights flashed. Now she was getting nervous. The lights dimmed for a moment and then the lights came back on. The car behind her had surged forward. The frightened woman struggled to keep her eyes on the road and fought the urge to look at the car behind her. Finally her exit approached, but the car continued to follow, flashing lights periodically. Every stoplight and turn it followed her until she pulled into a driveway. She figured her only hope was to make a mad dash for the house and call 999. She flew from the car. The driver said to the driver from the car behind her and screamed, "Lock the door or the police." Then the police arrived. The horrible truth was finally revealed to the woman. The man had been trying to save her. As he pulled up behind her, the headlights illuminated the car and showed a silhouette of a man with a butcher knife right from the back seat to stab her. So he flashed his lights and the figure crouched back down again. Moral of the story: always check your back seat. Maybe more. This is getting fun. Wow. two roommates, whatever you want to call them, in college were in the same science class. The teacher just reminded them about the midterm next day. About the midterm. The next day, when one dormmate, let's call her Julie, got asked to go to his big bash by the hottest guy in school. Her other dormmate Meg had pretty much no interest in going and being a diligent student. She took notes on what midterm was about, and after the entire period of flirting with her date, Julie was totally unprepared for her test, while Meg was completely prepared for a major study date with her books. At the end of the day, Julie spent hours getting ready for the party, while Meg started studying. Julie tried to get Meg to go, but she was insistent that she would study and pass the test. The girls were rather close, and Julie didn't like leaving Meg alone to be bored while having a blast. Julie finally gave up, using the excuse that she would cram in homeroom the next day. Julie went to the party and had the time of her life with her date. She headed back to the dorm at 2 a.m, decided not to wake Meg. She went to bed nervous about midterm and decided to wake up early to ask Meg for help. Julie woke up to wake Meg. Meg was lying on her stomach, apparently sound asleep. Julie rolled Meg over to reveal Meg's terrified face. Julie, concerned, turned to the desk lamp. Meg's face was still open, had blood all over it. Meg had been slaughtered. Julie, in horror, fell to the floor and looked to see what was written on the wall in Meg's blood. Aren't you glad you didn't turn on the light? Looking now. I've read that one. That's the man. The fatal hairdo. There's something called the fatal hairdo. Something happened to a 10-year-old girl who had braids. The little girl had been wearing her braids in the ponytail for the longest time. Apparently the braids were old at least 2 to 3 months, so the mother never took them down to wash them or let them air out or anything. Anyway, the girl had been complaining to the mother about having a headache for 2 weeks. The mother had just brushed it off, assuming she had hit her head against the wall or something. Why would you just yeah, if you hit your head against the wall, well done. Well, one morning the child again complained to her mother about having a headache while getting ready for school. Again, the mother brushed it off. When the child got to school, she told the teacher her head was hurting. The teacher assumed that the braids were too tight for the child's head and attempted to let the ponytail down. When she let the braids loose, there was a spider in the child's hair. The spider laid eggs in the child's hair. The spiders were eating her scalp. She was rushed to the hospital, where later she died. This happened in... Oh, this is real, because this happened in Monroe, Los Angeles, I think it is. No, yeah, LA. I don't know. It was all over the news and papers for about a week or so. Please, parents, don't leave braids of any kind or any kind of your hair extensions in your child's or your own hair for no more than 2 to 3 weeks. That was my Halloween Spectacular, the first annual one. Hope you liked it. If you didn't, then why? Then I'm sorry. Feedback. What should I do better? See you later. Subscribe, please. I'll see you later. Bye. Hope you guys enjoyed that what do I call it? Halloween video thing of sorts. Bye bye.